welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome to the all-important Copa del Rey semi-final second leg. This is it. Barcelona will be facing off against Real Madrid with an advantage by a single goal as we stand one step away from reaching the Copa del Rey final. But can we do it? In today's video, we're going to be looking at what may change from that Copa del Rey semi-final first leg. We're also going to be talking about what we can learn from the Clásico we saw at the Camp Nou just 2 weeks ago in the league. And how on earth is Xavi going to cope with the mounting injury list at Barça in this game? It is all discussed today. It's a big one. So come on. And let's do it. Because I still do feel as though, guys, looking back on that first leg here of the Copa del Rey semi-final against Real Madrid, it's still extraordinary to me that we went to the Bernabeu and won. Given all the injuries that we had, all the setbacks that we had, and the way we approached the game, it was absolutely unbelievable. We battled with everything we had to snatch that 1-goal victory to set us up now for this second leg. But after that game, do not forget the words of Carlo Ancelotti, who not only said there that Barca did not deserve to win and that it was one of Real Madrid's best games in terms of control, he also said, if we play like this in the second leg, we're going to have more chances, and I don't think Barcelona can approach the game playing like that at home. And I think that is interesting there from Ancelotti, because if we start by looking here at the average positions from that first leg, you can see right here how deep Barca were in the field, completely shutting down all of the space in behind. There was no room for Real Madrid to counter-attack, and you can see here how high Real were looking to be in the game. They were the ones actually having to operate in tight spaces, really condensed areas of the field, and that doesn't really suit the attacking players that they have all that much. But it is interesting because when you do then compare that first leg in the semi-final in the Copa to the most recent Clásico at the Camp Nou 2 weeks ago in the league, then maybe you've got a better idea of how Barca will look to set up, because we were more advanced in that game. We were the ones trying to be on the front foot where possible. Real Madrid dropped back a bit. There was more space in behind for them. They were constantly looking to counter, and it just remains to be seen in this one. Barca with more injury problems than we had in that Camp Nou at the Clásico. So what will Xavi be looking to do this time around? Because one of the significant differences this time will be there is no Frenkie de Jong in Barca's midfield. Now, I cannot even express how big of a blow that is for Xavi and his team, because I think Frenkie, in a game like El Clásico, when you're going to be asked to do everything, you are going to have times in the game where you need to defend, where you need to be a bit deeper, and then you need somebody to come and carry the ball, to get you out of trouble, get you up the field, and then you will also need times where you need to be technical, where you're going to be in Real Madrid's half, you're going to be there playing in tight spaces, and the thing about Frenkie de Jong is that he does it all in both halves. From box to box, he is the absolute full package, and to lose him in this game, no doubt about it, that limits what our midfield can do, because the likelihood is now is that Sergio Roberto will come into that midfield quartet. You've got Sergio Busquets in there, of course, Franck Kessie, who had a big impact coming on against Real Madrid in that League Clásico, and Gavi then, of course, off to the left-hand side. And of course, those four, they will look to play together. They will look to be nice and close to each other there to really provide some cover and have a stronghold on that Real Madrid midfield. And that's what I think is going to be really interesting, to actually see here what Real Madrid do in terms of their selection. Because I would not be at all surprised, guys, if Ancelotti here does something different. I feel he's done the same thing now, Clásico upon Clásico upon Clásico this season, and let's be real here, it's not worked for him. I think he needs to do something else, and that is why I think we may see Rodrigo come in. He was electric at the weekend for Real Madrid, really proving his point ahead of this game, and I think we're going to see him sit in that number 10 role, just behind Benzema, with the two wingers there as well, and I think it's going to be interesting if Real do that, because that's an attack-minded player. And in doing so, you then lose a midfield profile. And I think that is where Barca will be looking there, maybe not having the quality of Frenkie de Jong. We're losing quality in our midfield, but if we can make it up with numbers, if we can make sure those four in there are hard-working, that they really get on top of Real Madrid, that they look to use that numerical advantage as often as they possibly can, especially if Ancelotti goes more attacking, because the one big bit of team news that I do have to stress when it comes to Real Madrid is that Vinicius, he can play. Now, there were some suspicions in that first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-final. When Vinicius picked up his third yellow card of the Copa season, that would usually mean he's ruled out of the second leg. But the problem for Barca is that ahead of the Copa del Rey semi-finals, all of the cards in the competition, they were wiped. So Vinicius is not suspended. He can play in this one. And even though in the first leg, Vinicius very nearly took Frenkie de Jong's head off, and he also shouted into the referee's face, he is all good to play at the Camp Nou in the second leg. And I think looking then at that Real Madrid attack, if they are going to go more attacking, you've got Vinicius on the left-hand side. Of course, you've got Araujo over there. You've got Koundé as well. You will count on them again to try and deal with him, although he did have a few moments there in that recent Clasico, of course, on the left. But I think it's down the middle. And I think especially with Rodrigo potentially in there alongside or just behind Karim Benzema, the centre of our defence, it's going to come under real pressure, and that is why this is a massive game for Marcos Alonso. We all expect him there to come in and replace Andreas Christensen, and let's not forget, we also saw that exact replacement in the first leg. Alonso came in for that game at the Bernabeu and played very well. He was very solid in that game, but as we've often said, there was no space. He was not defending anything in behind him. He wasn't exposed there for pace because there was no space for Real Madrid. But if Barca do step up the field this time, as we expect them to do, Alonso's going to have to do much more. You're going to need the help of Balde, his pace, of course. You're going to need Araujo and Koundé looking over their shoulder, because for sure, Real Madrid are going to target Alonso. They're going to look to play on him, and we need to make sure that he is ready and that we protect him in the best possible way. It's not ideal, but with no Christensen, Xavi feels it's the best option we have. But make no mistake either, because Barca have areas of Real Madrid that I think we can target. I think we're very much aware that their right-hand side, that is where I think Xavi will be loading up his Barcelona team. I'm talking there about Alejandro Balde getting forward and looking to target Dani Carvajal. I think Gavi, he really has a way of operating and getting right under Real Madrid's skin. And again, Carvajal for me, he is the weak point. And I think Real Madrid fans accept that too. And even when he was playing recently with Spain, his performances are simply not there right now. So Barca have really got to go for that area and try to expose that as much as we possibly can. And I think there's a big threat as well when you're looking at Barca over on the other side too. On the right-hand side, I would look at Rafinha. That's a big player in this game for me, and I think he can be the difference maker again. We saw it before the international break in several games there, coming up clutch in big moments. But now these past few weeks have gone by, he wasn't called up to the Brazilian national team. He had a nice rest over the international break. But then, of course, at the weekend, he also didn't play as well. He was out with suspension. So you just hope that here, in this game now, he is nicely rested, he's nicely recovered. But can he get back up to speed? Can he make sure now that he's picking up where he left off before that international break? Because what is absolutely certain right now is that the two main men, the two main forwards of these two teams, they are feeling good. They have got themselves up to speed ahead of this game. Robert Lewandowski, 2 goals for him versus Elche at the weekend. And Karim Benzema, he hit a hat-trick against Real Valladolid. And it's quite incredible, really, when you're looking at two quality forwards. They both needed those goals. I think both of them there were going through a period whereby the confidence wasn't at its highest. You look at fitness, you look at their condition, maybe wasn't 100% either. They both needed a good weekend. They both needed to find some goals from somewhere, and they have done. They're both firing. They are both ready. And who's going to come out on top? Not only between Benzema and Lewandowski, but between Barca and Real Madrid. And so indeed, guys, ahead of this all-important Copa del Rey semi-final second leg, please do let me know what you are anticipating. What do you believe is going to happen there? It's a massive game. There is so much at stake, and this is one that we really, really do want to win. Let me know your predictions down below. Let me know all of those pre-Clasico feelings, and of course I'll see you tomorrow for the full match preview, where we're really getting ready and getting hyped for the occasion to come. I will see you then, and of course as well, over on TalkFCB. I thank you indeed for all of your support, all of your energy, and it won't be long now before the big one. But until next time, guys, as always, Visca el Barça.